Good day, this is your Sir Elmer, and once again, we have another math video lesson, and this time we will be talking about the difference of two squares. So let's start first with the definition. So the difference of two squares, by definition, we have if x and y are real numbers, variables are algebraic expressions, then we have this syntax: x squared minus y squared equals quantity of x plus y times the quantity of x minus y. So in this video lesson, we will learn how to factor difference of two squares, just like this. Now, what are the steps in factoring difference of two squares? We have three very easy steps to follow when we want to factor the difference of two squares. So number one, we get the square root of the first term and then write in each parenthesis. Next, affix the plus and minus sign in each parenthesis. And the third step, get the square root of the second term right in each parenthesis. But before we apply those three steps, let us first have an understanding of what perfect squares are. So I have here two columns. First, we will discuss about the perfect square numbers, and then right after, we will be discussing about the perfect square in terms of the variables. So what are perfect square numbers? So I will be giving you the first four perfect square numbers in mathematics. We have 1, 4, 9, and 16. So these are the first four perfect square numbers in mathematics. Now, why were they called perfect square numbers? Simply because they are the result of multiplying two similar numbers such as 1 times 1 for 1, 2 times 2 for 4, 3 times 3 for 9, and 4 times 4 for 16. Consequently, we can continue the list of perfect square numbers. Remember that the perfect square numbers are infinitely many in mathematics, so the list will go on and on. So for the next perfect square number, aside from these first four perfect square numbers that I have listed, we have 25, the result of 5 times 5, 36, 6 times 6, 49 for 7 times 7, 64 for 8 times 8, 81 for 9 times 9, and 100 for 10 times 10. So those are the first 10 perfect square numbers in mathematics. So as I've said, these are infinitely many and it can be listed and it will go on forever. Now, for the variables, we have x squared, a raised to 4, b raised to 10, d raised to 8, e raised to 16 as my example. So if you will be analyzing, as you can see, the exponent of these variables are all even numbers. There you go. So 2, 4, 10, 8, and 16, they are all divisible by 2. So if you see that the exponent of a certain variable is an even number, then we can say that that variable is a perfect square variable. So they are the result of multiplying two similar variables, such as x times x for x squared, a squared times a squared for a raised to 4, b raised to 5 times b raised to 5 for b raised to 10, and then for the last expression, we have d raised to 4 times d raised to 4 e raised to 8 times d raised to 4 e raised to 8. Now remember, perfect square numbers have square roots, and that is the second thing that we will be understanding for us to be able to factor the difference of two squares. So what are square roots? So remember that in the previous slide, we have listed the first four perfect square numbers, 1, 4, 9, and 16, and they are the result of 1 times 1, 2 times 2, 3 times 3, and 4 times 4. So since these four numbers are perfect square numbers, they can be obtained with a square root. So what are those? We have for 1, we have 1, 4, we have 2, 9, we have 3, and 16, we have 4. So basically, these square roots are numbers which, when multiplied to itself, will be equal to the perfect square numbers. So what do I mean? We have for 1, we multiply it by itself, we have the perfect square number 1. So we have for 2, 2 times 2, we will have the perfect square number 4. For 3, we have 3 times 3. If we multiply it to itself, we have the perfect square 9. And for 16, we have 4 times 4. We will obtain the perfect square number 16. So basically, these are the square roots of these perfect square numbers that we have listed. Similarly, for the perfect square variables that we have listed earlier, we have x squared, a raised to 4, b raised to 10, d raised to 8, e raised to 16, which are the result of multiplying similar variables such as the one listed. We can also obtain square roots from them. So for x squared, the square root is x, which is basically if you multiply it to itself, we have x times x is x squared. For a raised to 4, we have a squared. For b raised to 10, b raised to 5, and for d raised to 8, e raised to 16, we will be having the square root of d raised to 4, e raised to 8. Now, having all those knowledge regarding the perfect square numbers and their corresponding square roots, we can now apply steps in factoring difference of two squares. So let's factor. So for the first example, we have a square minus 49. So going back to the first step, let's first prepare the two parentheses. And then the first step tells us to get the square root of the first term, which is, in this example, a square. So the square root of a square is a. And we will write the variable a in each of the parentheses, such as this. And then for the second step, we will affix the plus and minus sign in each of the parentheses. So plus for the first parenthesis and minus sign for the second parenthesis. Now, question, if we interchange these two signs, is it also possible? The answer is yes. You can also interchange this. It's not fixed as to their position, meaning they can be interchanged. Okay, so do not worry if you have interchanged their position. Next, for the last step, get the square root of the second term or the last term, 49. So the square root of 49 is 7. So write it in each of the two parentheses. And after the third step, you have now obtained the factored form of the given binomial. So this is now our factored form. So it's as simple as that. Now, let's have another example. We have 9x squared minus 25y raised to 4. So once again, let's prepare the two parentheses. Now, get the square root of the first term as the first step. So we have now a numerical coefficient and together with its literal coefficient or the variable. So how to do that? Simply get the square root of the perfect square number, which is 3 for 9. And then for x squared, we have x and x. And then we now proceed to the second step, which is to affix the plus and minus sign and then get the square root of the last term, 25y raised to 4. Similarly, or similar with what we have done with the first term of this example, we will get the square root of 25, which is 5. Write it in each of the parentheses. And then for y raised to 4, that is simply y raised to 2, y raised to 2. And there you go. This is now the factored form of the given second example. Now for the third example, we have 81 minus 4 p raised to 6 q raised to 4. Let us prepare the two parentheses. Now get the square root of the first term, 81. So that is 9. Then affix the sign, plus and minus. And then get the square root of 4p raised to 6 q raised to 4. So for the numerical coefficient, that is 2. For the variable p, that is p raised to 3. And then for the variable q, we have q raised to 2 or q square, q square. The factored form is now obtained. Now, what about if we have a coefficient that is in fraction form? So what do we do? So let's see the process. So once again, we will apply the same 3 steps that we have applied for the first 3 examples. So the first step, once again, is to get the square root of the first term. So 1/4 a squared. Now for the fraction, do not worry. The obtaining of the square root is very easy. So let me write here to show you how to do it. So to get the square root of this, you just get the square root of the numerator, which is, for 1, we have 1, and then for the denominator. So 4 is a perfect square, the square root is 2. So by doing that, we have now obtained the square root of 1/4. So as simple as that. So let us write in each of the parentheses 1/2, 1/2, and then for its variable a squared, that is simply a. Right, in each of the parentheses. Then affix the plus and minus sign, and then obtain the square root of the number 25, which is 5 times 5. So we have obtained now the factored form of 1/4 a squared minus 25. Next, what about if all terms are of variables, just like this: x raised to 4, y raised to 8, minus z raised to 4. So let's see. Okay, apply the or prepare the two parentheses. Okay, get the square root of this. So for the x variable, we have x squared. For the y variable, we have y raised to 4. And then affix the plus and minus sign. Then proceed to the obtaining of the square root of the second term, z square. Z square. Okay, so as simple as that, we have now obtained the factored form of the given binomial. Next, 20x cubed minus 5x. Now, as you can see, if you analyze, the numerical coefficients are not perfect square numbers. So, what do we do in this case? So, in this case, if you encounter such binomials, you will be analyzing if you can apply any other factoring method that will be applicable to the given binomial. So, analyzing this, we can see that we can have, or we can obtain a GCF for this variable, or for this binomial rather. So, let's see. For the numerical coefficient 20 and 5, these are divisible by 5. So, that is their GCF. And for the variable, since both terms have an x term or x variable, get the one with the lower exponent, and that is x. So, this is now the GCF. Now, dividing these two terms with the GCF, we will obtain, so 20 divided 5, that is 4, x cubed divided by x, that is x raised to 2 or x squared, affix the sign, minus sign, then we have 5x divided by 5x is equivalent to 1. Now, having applied the greatest common factor or the common monomial factoring, we can now see that the binomial inside the parenthesis is a difference of two squares. Okay, so that means that we can apply the steps in the factoring of the difference of two squares in this example. So we will not yet have the final answer. So we will apply first those three steps. So the two parentheses, now get the square root of 4x squared, we have 2x. Then affix the sign, plus and minus in each of the parentheses, and then get the square root of 1, that is 1. So there you go. So we have now factored completely the given example. Another, we have 28x cubed minus 7x. So similar in the previous example, we can see that the two numerical coefficients are not perfect squares. So we will apply, if possible, the obtaining of the GCF. So let's see if it is applicable. So 28 and 7, they are both divisible by 7. For the x variable, since both terms have an x variable, so we just get the one with the lower exponent, which is x, and then dividing given with the GCF that we have obtained. So 28 divided 7, that is 4. X cubed divided by x, that is x squared. Then affix the minus sign. Then 7x divided 7x, that is simply 1. So as you can see, we have a binomial that can be factored using the difference of two squares once again. So let's apply the three steps. So the two parentheses, that is automatic. Then get the square root of 4x squared, that is 2x, 2x. Then we have the plus and minus sign, then the factor of 1, or the square root of 1, which is 1 and 1. So there you go. This is now the complete factor of the given binomial 28x cubed minus 7x. So there you go. Congratulations, you have now learned the skill of the factoring of the difference of two squares. So that's the end of the video. I hope that you have learned another skill and you have learned something from me. Once again, this is the end of the video. I will see you in the next one. Peace.